Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Craftin. Welcome. Let me get my devices connected here so I can see if anybody joins me live and so I can keep up with any comments. It's still thinking. Hopefully my internet's doing all right. Things are a little slow here. My internet's doing all right. Oh, I got sound there. All right, got my little welcome. There we go. Now it popped up on my other device. And I think I'm ready to go. So quickly, I'll go through announcements. Anybody who's catching up maybe hasn't seen these before. If you show up late, you've heard these because I've been talking about them all of October. New products are available. We had 3 new kits drop this month, so go check out all that kind of stuff. And my website, my online store is in the comments for this video. So I think they're down there somewhere. Last chance product list has been updated. There's a lot of things on there. Remember that sometimes if there's a bundle on there, it's only the discounted bundle price that might be on the last chance list. It doesn't necessarily mean that the items won't be available in the future. They just won't be bundled for a discount. Paper pumpkin. If you have not subscribed to this paper pumpkin, Mama Juju, Craftin on the Back 40, I think is her thing. She's a junk journalist, but she's on my team now. She got her surprise paper pumpkin kit with her starter kit. She put it together the other day, and she had a blast. Well, she might not have had a blast, but she did a really good job on it. So check that out. But I do the paper pumpkins from time to time on here. Subscriptions close every month on the 10th of the month. So it's almost the 10th here in Wisconsin. I guess I didn't say that. It is 11:50 p.m. here now in Wisconsin. But at midnight Mountain Time, tomorrow will be the last time you can subscribe for the October kit, which is velvety flocking. That adds a hand-stitched effect to this kit. I don't know all of what's in it. I didn't watch the preview, so they usually give us a couple little snippets, but I haven't watched. There are also these Abundant Joy dies add-on. Every quarter, Stampin' Up! Has been doing an add-on die set. So it coordinates and adds kind of some extra elements to each of the 3 kits that are in that quarter. All right, so tomorrow's the last day to subscribe. If you're interested in that, reach out to me or go to my website. There's under the shop section, there should be a place for Paper Pumpkin. Stampin' Up! Is also starting these virtual craft classes. The first one is going to be October 23rd. The class is available for purchase. It is $30. That will include the Stampin' Up! Professionals that are leading the class. They'll give us some backstories to the suite that's being used, which is the Traditions of Christmas suite. This has been very popular because of this class. Right now, most or all of the suite is not available. So I think all I have is like the ribbon and the paper. So I'll be supplementing mine with other things. But we'll also get a PDF, I believe, and maybe cutting directions. There's a supply list already available. This will be on a private Facebook page. And they'll be doing 4 projects. These are just some little snippets. You probably can't even see that really well. But there's just these 4 little snippets. That's all we have as a clue. There will be 3 cards and 1 home decor item. So If you're interested in that, the class that is available is item number 170073. And the suite, like I said, is not available as a suite. There might be some individual elements that are available, but we can always use what's in our stash, right? One of the best deals right now with Stampin' Up! Is this starter kit. If you haven't joined, but you like to buy your crafting supplies, and you need everything, I'll vouch for you. This is the best time to join. Stampin' Up! Is offering $125 worth of products that you pick out. Nobody else picks it out for you. You get to pick your goodies, and you only have to pay $35. You'll get free shipping. You'll get a free surprise paper pumpkin kit. You'll get some catalogs and other business supplies if you want to use it. But you can be a kitnapper. You can be a discount diva. You just want it for the discount, because once you join, you get a 20% discount off of everything you purchase. All right. So you get your $35 worth of product, free shipping, the free paper pumpkin kit, the discount later on. And if you've got questions on that, let me know. Linda, welcome. I know you said you weren't going to stay long, so I'm just trying to get through my announcements quick. The other option is $189 worth of product that you will only pay $99 for. So either way, whatever option you choose, you are getting $90 worth of free product. I've never seen Stampin' Up! Offer that. And a lot of the gals that I know that have been demonstrators for more than 20 years have never seen it either. So if you just need basic things, go with this $35 option. You can't lose because you'll get, obviously, a lot more than $35 worth of stuff. If you have, hey, Juju, if you have a larger item you want to get, like the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, this would be the option for you. Because you get the free shipping. So that would be a good option. But otherwise, I would say that $35 one is the way to go. And then after that, everything you get's on your discount. All right. And then I think the last thing I have to talk about is this 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar. This is a really big kit. Now, I opened this the other day. It's a big kit. It's like 2 inches wide, but it's really big. So it's what, like 10 and a half by almost 12. And hello, Susan Johnson. You've not been here for a little bit, but several days ago, I was going to open just door number 1, I think, and that's empty right now because I took the dies out of it. But I opened up every page, every compartment. So if you want to see that, just go back a few days and you will see that. We're going to use some of these things tonight. I am going to case a card from Stampin' Up. And I guess I should kind of let you know, this is available for purchase right now. I hope it's still available. Maybe I should check and make sure. Hopefully it didn't sell out yet. It is still available. All right. So this is a $99 kit. You could add it to a starter kit, or after you do your starter kit, this would be a cool thing to get for your 20% discount too. But it comes with dies and paper and masks and embellishments and memories and more cards, and there's just a ton of stuff in here. So we're going to play with this again tonight. Now, 2 nights ago, I think it was, we made this card. And I cased it from the Stampin' Up! Recipes. You think you won round 2 on Paper Pumpkin versus Juju? Yes. I'll have to go take a look. I didn't look at any videos today. I was busy doing stuff. I had several cards that I was commissioned to make, and I had to finish those up and get them delivered. And yeah, so I was busy all day. So I made this card. We collaborated on it. And then I did this envelope with the coordinating paper. I love having coordinating papers on my envelopes. I don't like naked envelopes. All right. Anybody who's crafted with me knows I don't like naked envelopes. So last night, all right, see you, Linda. Have a good night. Thanks for popping in. So last night we did this little cased note card. Let me see if I can get this cover off. All right, and we decided to add a little bit of ink blending. I did my dauber, and I'm not really good using a dauber, I have to admit it. I don't use them a whole lot. So tonight I'm gonna do cards in these other colors, and I'm going to use my blending brushes instead, and we'll see how they look. Susan, so I'm glad you're back. Sorry you've been busy with your mom, because that probably means it hasn't been easy. If you're busy, it's probably some caretaking things. And what's scheduled for 8 in the morning, Juju? Anyway, I'll try to keep up with some of the comments. So we made also this box, which was cased from the recipes as well. And the recipe just had the ribbon around the box here. All right. So we decided last night to do an acetate cover on it. And we kind of played around with how to secure the ends to make it into a nice little box. The liquid glue didn't work so well, but the glue gun did. My Surebond fine tip glue gun worked. You can see the glue on here, but it won't really matter because we have the box tucked in instead of on the outside. Your video? Oh, okay. Oh, okay, cool. I will watch for that. Then I didn't miss it. I thought maybe it was one that I missed. I did see one where you had some on another haul that came in that you had some like lacy doily things or something. So I thought maybe you had incorporated that together. So what I ended up doing, how I've done some of these other boxes is I just cut out the corners so that they're not really attached, but they fit into the inside of the box really nice. So if you want to see how this one came together, we're gonna probably make a few more of these cards in all the different colors because we only did the Flirty Flamingo last night. So we'll make a few more of those. And we did this little paper piecing. Sela, welcome. Actually, I've only been on for a few minutes, maybe like 10 minutes. So you missed all the announcements that you've heard me say every night anyway. So here's the little paper piecing rainbow we did. With all of the little innards from those. So I have stuff prepped for that. I also thought we would make a cute little box for this. So I kind of started that, but I want to start with kind of what I'm going to call the main event, the new card. And then we can go and do some of these other things depending on how time goes. Because I had said last night that I would make these other colors and have them worked up today, and I just didn't get to them today. I guess I didn't manage my time very well. Susan, yeah, it's hard when they get that old. I know we had built our addition for my parents to move in with us, so I was able to spend all those last days with my mom before she passed away. So it is kind of bittersweet, but you'll cherish that time together. I'm late for a very important date. It's all right, Sally. We're just now getting into the meat and bones. All right. So Stampin' Up gives demonstrators recipes. So when we have catalogs, online exclusives, special, like the mini catalog, the annual catalog, any of those things, they give us recipes. So they'll tell us all of the elements that are in the card, like the paper, the ink, the tools, the embellishments, and if there's a kit involved, and if there's some techniques. All right. We have to kind of figure everything else out because they don't give us the measurements. They just tell us, I need one piece of 8.5 by 11 Secret C cardstock. Okay. So we're going to figure this one out as best we can. So I'm going to try to leave that maybe right about there. Maybe I'll move this up again. I've been trying to kind of move that up out of the way a little bit so we have a little bit more space because I'm zoomed in. So I have to try to remember to move up on my board a little bit, my glass mat. So we have Secret C for our card base. And I did not score this, but I think it's the right size. So yeah, it's 5.5 by 8.5. So I'm going to score that at 4.25. And then we'll go ahead and burnish it. I need to get some more bone folders over here. Somehow I'm down to one at this table, and I don't know how that happened. Oh, I see where they are. All right, so we've got this burnished. I'm going to set that off to the side. Now, as far as the tools, it said I need dimensionals, the liquid glue, my stylish shape dies, which is for this. So let's go ahead and stamp this big thanks. It's going to be embossed because it does tell us we need, the embellishments include the Basics Wow embossing powder, so that's the white. So I'm going to go ahead and get the white. Make sure I've got white and not clear because I made that mistake one night. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and just use my embossing buddy, which is just a powder bag, kind of like a sandbag, only different, but it cuts down on the static so that the embossing powder just goes where I want it to go. And then I need the big thanks. So this is the stamp set that comes with that 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar. And I'm going to put this back on here for right now, just because I don't want to spill it. So they've got big thanks on here. And I was also thinking we could just do big birthday wishes instead, but then I'd have to do a little surgery on my stamp set. So I wanted to wait until I went live so you could actually see me do the little surgery on my stamp. All right, so we're going to do big birthday wishes instead of big thanks, if you can see that. So what I'm going to do is take my snips and I'm just going to cut big and thanks apart so that I can use big, and thanks is not going to be used this time. And then we'll get this on a block. I could probably put them together on a single block, huh? Why don't I do that? That'll make it a little easier. And I think we can just go like this. So let me move this a little closer. And we'll just put this on here. And I already put my powder on there, so let's get our Versamark. Now, I like to lay my photopolymer stamps flat on some paper and then pick them up with my glass block rather than trying to just lay them on the glass block, because I think they get a little crooked sometimes. And it looks like that G is up a little bit. I'm going to stamp a little bit more on there because I might have rubbed it off. And let's see how that sample looks. It shows it as a flag, so I'm going to do it down a little bit and a little bit more in the middle. So Susan, are you still by your mom, or are you back in your normal environment? See, for me it was so convenient having my parents here because then I didn't have to go anywhere to check on them. And then I worked 4 10-hour days a week, and my husband was home because he was retired, so somebody was usually home with my parents. And then I could see them every day. We ate together every day. And I would have Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. And then, you know, I would take my mom shopping and stuff on Mondays. So that was my schedule for a while. And I don't regret any of it. I'm glad that they were able to be here with us and I was able to spend every day seeing them. It was nice. I see just a couple of Klingons here. So I'm just trying to clean this up a little bit with my little artist brush here without messing up any of the Versamark powder here. I think that looks pretty good. Although Wishes hardly looks like it's got a dot on it. It looks like it's all one piece. Not anymore. All right, so there's that. Let me go get my... All right, well that didn't work. I just brushed some of it off the eye. Let me get my heat gun. I'll try this one more time. That'll be fine. All right, let's put this cover on here. And I'm going to put that on there so I don't lose it, so it doesn't get picked up with something else. And let's get the heat gun. So Susan, Sala, it's Friday already for you, so you're at the end of your week. Anything fun planned for the weekend to rejuvenate? Now you can see I like to heat my paper from the back because then I can watch all of the shimmer magic happen when everything gets melted. Oh, it's nice that you're so close, Susan. Oh, that's good. Every morning and lunch with her. Nice. So yeah, my parents were about 35 to 40 minutes away from me, so all of that driving back and forth was just not real convenient. So, oh, you know, this might not even fit with the Stylish Shapes dies now. I might have to make my own little banner, which will be fine. Yeah, I think that might be a little tight. I'm going to make my own banner. So the recipe showed the Stylish Shapes dies to cut that out as a banner, but because I used the extra words in there, it's not going to fit. I hadn't considered that, but that's fine. We'll just trim it. We'll just trim it and put the little flag ends on it. That's easy enough to do. Now I'm using the little channel as my line to cut straight. And then we'll do the same thing over here. And then I can use these lines as well. Oh, well, that's very sweet of your mom to send you on a spa day, a spa retreat. 4 days, nice, but then you'll miss your time checking on her. Hopefully there's somebody else that can kind of help with that, huh? That's very nice. All right, so let's take a look. I'm going to snip this just a little shorter on each of the ends. So I'm going to take the end of the letter here to the 1/2 inch mark here, and I'm going to snip off the extra. And then I can do the same thing here where these letters end is at the 1/2 inch mark. That way I'm sure that I'm pretty even on both sides, because it'll look a little deceiving because of how there's a lot of empty space here. But then what I'm going to do is right in the center, we'll just snip in a little bit. And then in the center here, we'll snip in a little bit. And then we'll go from each corner into that snip line. And then I have a nice symmetrical banner. Because if I try, for me, if I try to snip a little and snip a little and snip a little, I invariably get them a little crooked. All right, so our banner's done. And then these instructions say that we need, this looks like this little banner here, it looks like it has stitching on it, but the only tools that they said we needed were the stylish shapes dies. So I'm guessing they may have used the square for one end and part of a circle on the other end. Oh, it's nice that you've got family close then that can check on her. That's good. So rather than use those two pieces, I just pulled out my Everyday Arches dies, and I'm going to use those instead. And we'll just figure out which one will work best. So if this is our card base, that one's kind of big. That one looks like it's pretty close to that size. I think the next one down is going to be kind of small. Well, that one would work too. And then this will go here. And then we're going to stamp some flowers too. The bigger one or the littler one? What do we think? In the meantime, partial die cutting, yeah. But I'm going to cheat and I'm just going to use my Everyday Arches. It's easier. And then we're going to do some stamping. We've got a few flowers and some leaves to do. So that is with the Flirty Flamingo. Easier for the win, you got that right. I have a little bit of frog in my throat today. All right, so I got these all on the blocks already. So we're just going to do 3 flowers. So we're going to do 1 big one and 2 of the smaller ones, just like it shows. Now, this is the first time I'm using these flowers. Oh, you're not talking too much at all, Susan. I think that's part of why we get together and craft for so long. It's like you're sitting around the table with a bunch of friends, right? Don't you think? For me, it is. I like hearing about how things are going on. I mean, I don't like hearing sad things because I feel bad for people, but it's nice just to be able to share and no judging or anything, right? All right, let's see how that looks. I'm going to pull in my piercing mat, though, just to give me a better cushion here. And these have dies. All right, so there's one. And I like to put my ink onto my stamp rather than my stamp into my ink because it's too easy to over ink. You betcha, Susan. All right, so I tried to kind of turn these the same way so that I can line up my die. And then it looks like we need, it's got a couple of the leaves. So that is, did I pull those out of the stamp set? I didn't. So let me pull that one out. I guess I missed that one. So it looks like we've got about like 5 of those. I've kind of run out of my little blocks. So let me put this. And look at what I did. These are all of the dies from the 12 days of crafting Advent. So one packet had these dies and then one packet had these dies. So I put them all on my, that's my hard metal magnet one from Stampin' Storage. So let's get our old olive for these leaves, and I'm going to cover up the Flirty Flamingo so I don't have an ink mess. I don't know, listening and kind of caring about everything is global. It's universal. I don't like how that looked. Let's try that again. It's a little blotchy here, and maybe it would be fine, but let's see if it looks any better. Maybe I'll just tap, tap, tap lightly. Thank you, Sala. Those are looking better than the first one. All right, so I think 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks good. And then we just need to do the centers of the flowers with the Secret C. And we are going to do, this shows for one of the flowers like here. And then this one for the smaller ones. So let's go ahead and do these smaller ones first. And I'm just tapping lightly, I'm not pushing down. Sometimes it is hard to put the ink on the stamp when it's so small. And then this one, it looks like it wants this more oblong one, and I'm just trying to see which way it'll look better. Oh, maybe that way. There we go. That'll work. I don't know. Hello, Diana. All right, so I think I can kind of put this away. I need another piece of white, though, for my everyday arches. Did we decide, are we going to do the bigger arch or the smaller of the two? Because I want to cut that out, because some of these other elements I'm going to stamp right on this white arch piece and emboss those in gold. It's hard to tell what's on here. It might be there's some little pieces, and it's hard to tell if they're the embellishments or if it's embossed on there. So I'm just going to kind of emboss. So let me go ahead and cut these out. We'll see how big the flowers are on there. Let's get the big one. We'll get Bossy Bessie out. And we'll do the big one. Oh, I guess I should put that cutting edge down, huh? It'll never match up if I've got the cutting edge up. All right, so that'll be there. Let's see about some washi tape. That roll is empty. All right, I think that looks pretty good. And then we need the smaller flower. Oh, that was pretty lucky. Sometimes they're really hard to line up. Hopefully that'll hold it enough. And then the leaf. Oh, this leaf isn't big enough. Well, I do not want to fussy cut all of those leaves, let me tell you that. That's not going to happen. I'm just going to turn these another way. So, actually, I think I'm going to cut these instead of the stamp because I don't want to, I really don't feel like fussy cutting tonight. I'm going to get some old olive and we'll just cut them out. Because I'm feeling just a little lazy. Oop, nearly knocked over my water. All right, so let's cut these first. Oh, you guys are having wind, huh? We're still having beautiful weather here, which is kind of unheard of. Oh, I guess we have a white leaf. I forgot that was on there. I mean, we're a third of the way through the month almost, and we're still having nice warm weather. I'll put this on here right away. All right, and then, oh, Sally, you're right. I've never felt like fussy cutting. Good point. But I bet I would surprise you if I said, oh, I'm so excited. Let me fussy cut those leaves. So we've got Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz tonight, Mary Poppins with her umbrella, and then we had Alice in Wonderland with the White Rabbit, right? Was the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland? I'm late for a very important date. It's been a long time since I had young children that we had those stories. And they had all the Little Mermaid stuff for a granddaughter and all of that she was into. All right, so let's run this one through. All right. I'm going to fussy cut a couple of these. Are you happy, Sarah? I am thrilled to be fussy cutting. These should be pretty easy anyway because they're just little leaves. Nice rounded ends. It'll be fine. I'm not going all the way in there though. All right, one down. That wasn't so bad. So we're getting all the classics, hitting all the classics tonight. See, I think we have the best conversations here. Maybe I won't have to cut any out with the old olive. All right, there's 2 leaves down. That's not so bad. Are you ladies bored yet? could probably get that Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine out of the way, huh? Because I'm probably fussy cutting off camera, aren't I? Because it's so riveting. At least you know I'm not lying. I did actually fussy cut these. All right, 3 down. Yes, it is a super easy shape. The flowers would definitely be painful. We'll get that out of the way. Yeah, I had 3 pretty specialized cards I needed to make. And today was like my deadline to get them delivered. So of course, today I was finishing the custom envelope for one of them. But one was a wedding card, and I actually did a trifold so that it ended up being 4 1/4 by about 8 inches. And I used a lot of old product that I had. So they needed a burgundy and navy blue, which I thought was kind of ironic because that's the colors that we had when my husband and I got married. My dress was a burgundy, and then we did a double wedding with his sister, and her dress was blue, dark blue, navy blue. So that kind of brought back memories. And then I had another wedding card to do that was kind of the wedding theme was a little outside of my comfort zone, being goth, circus, and Tim Burton themed. So it's like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. So I found some of my old, what do they call it? Like mirror glass, you know, where the metallic was all like modeled on it. So I did some of that. And it actually turned out pretty cool. So I had the acetate, that mirror glass acetate as the base. And then I had some silver metallic paper that I made layers inside. And it actually turned out quite nice. And then I had a baby card that I had to do. So I have all of my commissioned cards done. Oh, I guess I do still need the embossing machine out here. We're going to do a couple of these because if I look at the instructions, it shows a couple, maybe 3 of those. Yeah, it's not something I do real often though, but I was really happy with the card. And I think, did I take pictures of it? Oh, I don't know if I took pictures of that one. I may not have. That's a bummer. Because she's already out of town now, going to the wedding. So, anyway. I think I kind of messed that up. That's all right. Let's get the little Betsy out for the rest of these little pieces here. And we'll just run these through. I think I can avoid that little glue slop on there. It'll be fine. And then I just need to cut that arch. This is probably so small, it's probably not going to want to pop out. All right, take your pick tool time. No, you're not making snarky comments, are you? I'll have to check my phone and see if I took any pictures. I had to have, I took a couple because I know I sent her, my friend that asked for the cards, I know I sent her a couple of options. Do you want this or this? And she's like, oh, I don't know. They look so similar to me. You decide. So I did. I decided. The gothic can be a fun theme, Susan. If that's what you were asking about. Those special cards that I make, the ones that I'm like commissioned to, I try to take pictures of. Not that I have a portfolio or anything, but it's nice to have them for ideas, you know, at other times. All right, so this little leaf I'm not going to use. That was an accidental die cut. Then we just need the arch. So the arch with these flowers, if we put a couple there and one here, that's going to go there. Either one would be fine. I'm going to use the little one, I think. Oh, I missed that where you needed to make a card. Oh, I see it now. You need to make a card for your mom today. You better get on the stick. All right. Let's get a plain old white piece here. I thought I had another one. This is, oh, this is fine. This is just a card base half. All right, so let's go ahead. I need, oh, I could probably do this on the little machine too. Yeah, sometimes I feel like I get behind in the comments because I want to keep moving things along for those people that don't necessarily like the chatter. But, I mean, that's the nice thing about replay, too, when they come back and watch later, that they can either turn the sound off. Of course, they could watch without the sound, but, or you can speed it up or fast forward or... So, Salad, is it your mom's birthday? Did I miss a comment? Or did I just forget, which is entirely possible? All right. So, here we go with this. And we are going to do some gold embossing on here. So if I look at this, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's like some gold stuff on there. It's almost like it's a patterned paper, but I don't remember seeing that in the kit. Let me take a look. Because this embossed piece, that's got too many speckles, so it's not that. Oh, so your mom's birthday is the 13th. Oh, you're going to celebrate it tomorrow. That'll be fun. My birthday is on the 13th of a month also, just not this month. And then let's see if these have any speckles on them. I actually am okay with the red rubber stamps going away. I personally prefer, I don't think that's it either. Well, that could be it. I personally don't use the red rubber stamps a whole lot. I like the photopolymer ones because I can see through them. And they're making the photopolymer ones where they can get so much more detail in them now. I bet that is this. So that might be easier. Let's go ahead and use this. We'll make an arch out of that and I'll save this for another day. Well, I should have looked at that a little bit sooner, huh? All right, so that's one of the memories and more packs from the Advent calendar segment. So let's go ahead. We'll get this out of the way. I got a lot of clutter going on here. Story of my life. Yeah, I actually found a way that works for me to put the stickers on, because I would put the sticker on my block. Then I take the backing off, and then I would flip it over and line it up to put over my red rubber piece, because that's how I would stamp anyway. So it really worked because I could see it, and I would have it like on a dark piece of paper so I could see the outline good. So that usually worked pretty well for me, but I'm personally not gonna miss having those. And I think we need the little one. I could do the big one, but it won't. Yeah, I'm still going to stick with the little one. And then there's new packaging too that's coming out, and I think that will work better with the photopolymer than it would with the red rubber. So that might have been part of the issue as well. And apparently they were, oh, I should have put the round edge in first. Because this flat edge makes it a little harder to do that. What was I saying? The red rubber is a little thicker to go in the new packaging. So that might have been another reason for them to change. But they were saying that they were having a more difficult time sourcing the red rubber that makes the stamp. So I'm just wondering if it was getting so expensive that they wanted to minimize costs. All right, so that's that. Now, I thought I had another piece of Secret C, because we're going to make this into a shaker card. Remember, here it is. And I'm going to cut this down to, let's see, this is 4 3/4, but I want this to be like 5 1/4. And we're going to go to 4. And we're going to do a cheater shaker card. So you already store the other brand clear stamps in the new packaging. Yeah. So I started putting my things already in some clear bins. I know, right? Because it just makes it easier. The spines here, for me, those pictures are so small, I can't really tell what, I mean, I can see it, but it just doesn't, this doesn't do a whole lot for me. This does. And the fact that the dies are going to have artwork on them, I think is awesome. And I think some of the people are just really worried about the change in the packaging, and I'm just not. All right, so our cheater shaker card, we are going to put some of these elements on our layer. So let's get our base. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this on kind of in the middle. And I'm going to use the multi-purpose liquid glue for that. And I'll get some of my other debris out of the way here. Oh, these memory more cards are double-sided. I thought I almost did it on the wrong side, but it's all good. Phew. Crisis averted. All right, so if I line this, I need to remember to move up a little bit. I'm sorry, ladies. We'll go up here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. We'll go down just a little bit. That should be pretty close. Yeah, I don't shop very many places for stamps, but when I'm out and about and I see them, they're all in just even a clear cellophane wrap. So this is actually going to kind of look like that. It's going to look a little different from the sample, but I'm all right with that. Because I'm guessing they probably didn't have, if they had done the partial stamping or partial cutting with those 2 dies, they probably just didn't have the stitch edge on there. I don't care. We're going to do it. All right, so these, we're going to get a couple of the leaves. And I am going to use, I think, some Stampin' Seal. And we're going to just put some of this on here to pick up some of these extra elements. And it doesn't have to be exactly like the picture, right? Yeah, these are dies from that, from the Advent dies. There were 2 packages of dies in that box. So this leaf is here and even a smaller version of that cutout leaf. All right, so I'm gonna put maybe another leaf here because it's kind of like there's a little hole here. Maybe I should just go like this. That'll be all right. And maybe that one over there. I guess I didn't have quite enough seal on the back of there. All right, and then I'm going to put that on some dimensionals. And the dimensionals will help hold some of those things in place as well. And then I'm just going to kind of lay this out because this one will kind of go here. No, I think I want it like that. I want it like that. I think we'll do that. And then I'm going to put my little ones here. So one of these I'm just going to glue right on that panel. And we can put some more little gold pieces on here. With just a little bit of glue if I can get it to come out not too fast. And then I'll put this one up on dimensionals also. And I think what I'll do is, at least for this one, I'm just going to attach it kind of there. I'll do it on the side of the dimensional, and then I'll still put some glue on here when I go to put it down, because that'll end up being flat, but this way I can line it up without having to think about it when I put it on the paper, if that makes sense. We can just put that there somewhere, that'll be fine. And that one's down there, and then big birthday. Well, that kind of covers up a lot of my flowers, huh? course, I covered up theirs too, but theirs was a little smaller because I only did the big thanks. I think what I'm going to do, I'm not even sure that I like that big old banner. We're going to do one of these. So I wouldn't have had to have done surgery. We're going to do big and then birthday wishes. We're just going to go with it. There. I like that better, I think. I think I like that better. I'll just do big over here. That'll work. And then we'll put a little glue on each of those spots here. Actually, I need to trim this a little bit. I've got a little wonky, it looks like. There. I think I like that better than the flagged banner. It's all right to change your mind. All right. So then this, we still have another gold piece. I kind of have that tucked up in here, so. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I kind of like those flowers actually, so why cover them up? So let's just tuck this in here. All right. Oh, and they've got some of the baker's twine in there too. All right, let's pull that out. I didn't remember seeing that on our little instructions here. Normally it would have said that on there. So there's baker's twine in here. Wrapped around there. Oh, it looks like they've got a little bow in there. So let's just play here. All right, so I'm going to put each of these in their own little bag. Just because I have extra bags. And then what I'm going to do is, I like to, it works better when each roll is in its own bag, but if you have multiple ones in a bag, you can still do it. It's just sometimes they'll roll up on each other, so you just have to be kind of careful. And this one didn't have, this one had a hole in the bag already. This one doesn't, so I'm just gonna do a little snip in here. And we'll do the same thing. That way I don't have to worry about my twine rolling away from me, as mine is sometimes known to do. And then I can keep the bag sealed, my twine won't roll away, and it stays clean and contained. So there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and tie a bow the cheater way, which is a couple of bunny ears, and just make the loops and make a little knot there. And I think we'll just put it there. They kind of, on the sample, it shows a big loop-de-loop on there stuck under the sentiment, so I'm just going to do something a little bit different because I didn't plan ahead. Oops. And then we're almost ready for the shaker part. I'll roll it into a little burrito there. I'm just kind of tuck this up under here. I think that's cute enough. All right, now I got a couple of extra leaves. Do we need a couple more leaves down here? I hate to have cut them out for nothing. So that'll give us 3 clusters of green, so I think that'll be good. All right. Now, the last little element here is to make our cheater shaker card. And you ladies have all been crafting for a long time. I'm sure you know about this. Now, the sample shows where it looks like we've put it in a clear envelope because the plastic goes all the way to the end. But here they say as our embellishment is a window sheet. So I think they might have written the instructions and then made a separate sample. So we are going to find a little clear envelope. Stampin' Up does sell these. And we're going to go ahead and put this in the envelope. And we're going to get a bunch of those little embellishments. And I'm going to use some of each, I think. So this Advent calendar comes with these gold flat ones that are all like glitter in there. So I'm going to pour a bunch of those in here. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap it to the back. All right, so that's enough of those. And then I'm going to put a bunch of these in here. But I don't know where the card base... See here, the instructions said window sheet. But they would have, to do it as an endless one, or like an infinity edge, like on an infinity pool, they had to have used a clear envelope, so that's what I'm going to do. And then these are really pretty too. So there's some bows in here, there's some flowers, there's just some circles, there's some stars, there's some hexagons. And we're just going to put a bunch of these in here. And a little staticky. Those bows are kind of big. I think I need a few more. I think that'll do it. That way I'll have some more stuff for other ones. All right. And then we're going to push this all the way down into the corner. Yep, the whole thing is in the bag. And then I'm going to put the bag on the base. Because to me, it looks like everything... Oh no, those flowers are probably on the outside. They extend, but we're going to do it this way tonight because I already glued everything together. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take the backing for the adhesive. and cinch that up tight-ish. It wrinkled though, let me redo that. There we go. And then this side, I'm going to fold it over. And I'm going to go ahead and, do I want to do tear and tape? I think I'm going to do tear and tape. I'm just going to do a little Scotch tape here. To hold those edges down. Sorry, I'm working kind of low on the glass mat. All right, so that's all cinched up, and I'm going to use tear and tape here. And we'll secure it a little bit more. Oh, and last night, remember we were talking about, Bonnie was talking about glue on her hand. And what she does is she puts a dollop of glue, a pretty big amount of glue. So when she has little things like this that she needs to put glue on, she just dabs it on her hand and then she puts it on her project. So if they're detailed, it's kind of controlled because there's just a dollop here. And then by the time she's done crafting, what's on her hand is dried and she just rubs it off. She and I were chatting afterwards. All right, so let me get my bone folder. I'm just going to go ahead and push that on there good and let that adhesive kind of do its job of adhering. I think I've gotten all of the edges now. So that's a lot going on in this card. But we look pretty close to the original. But we're going to do ours here. Yeah, I usually do mine on a silicone mat because that seems to work for me. And then I just let it dry on the silicone mat. In fact, I have one here. I was going to try to do a Tuesday tool video, and I just rub it off of there once it's dry, because I have found that if I have it wet on my silicone mat and then I try to put it underwater, it leaves some kind of residue. I don't know why. Or maybe it's just me. I don't know. All right. Oh, I got an itty bitty little piece of embellishment on my dimensionals there. So let's go ahead and put this together. Well, Sala, I just wish that I had thought of the card. It is beautiful, but, you know, I'm not above casing things from Stampin' Up. Their concept artists are amazing. I mean, there's some things that I look at and I'm like, ooh, that is just not my style. But it's somebody's style, you know. The challenge sometimes is when you look at the picture, because we don't have the measurements, and even in the catalog without the recipe, you know, I could see some things and it's like, okay, well, I wouldn't necessarily be able to tell that that's gold. So, you know, it's nice to have the list of what the elements are that I need. And let's make sure we're putting this on right side up. We don't want an upside down card. And then we'll put this on here. And we have a modified infinity. shaker card. I think that's pretty good. All right. How fun is that? All right, so there's our sample, and there's what we made out of it. I think that turned out really fun. Pretty easy, a little putsy, but you know, I'm a putsy stamper and a messy stamper and all of that. But you know, this is my relaxation time. This is my happy place, and I'm not running a race. Although when I have classes and stuff to get ready for, or like these several cards that I was commissioned to make, it's like, oh, I'm under the wire. I got to get this stuff done. So I cheated with the Everyday Arches card or dies instead of using a square and a circle to double cut. And I used the envelope, which is actually what it looks like they used. Because I don't know how they could have done acetate and not had it like a frame, you know? So I think that's very fun. Very fun. And then we'll do just a nice little white layer inside. And maybe stamp some flowers on it. How's that sound? So we'll do 4 by 5 1/4. Since I haven't washed these stamps yet, I'm going to go ahead and stamp these on here. And I'm just going to use the little ones. And we'll do a little stamping off there. And then we'll get the Secret C. Yeah, you could score the acetate, but Stampin' Up's is so thick that to get it folded under and secured, I would be afraid that it would pop out. But that might just be me. Nice light tap for those. And maybe we need a couple of leaves. I'm just going to kind of stamp those off there. Just to add a little color. Yep, you should try it. Super easy. I usually will do my shaker cards with a frame and the acetate attached under the frame. So if I did, oh, I don't know, where do I have? I thought I had some banner frames hanging around. I don't know where I put them. But you know, if I had a frame and then I had the center cut out, then I would put my acetate on the back of that so you can see the window through. This is such an easy way to do your shaker cards. If you've got these clear envelopes, it's super easy. Super easy. And then it's not too thick to go through the mail either, at least not for us. Oh, you've not seen that before, Susan? This is the cheater way. I call it the cheater way. So then I'm just going to go ahead and attach this in here. And we have, I think, an adorable little card. I like having that little bit of wiggle room with that liquid glue. What a cute card, hey? Love it. All right, card number 1. Now, let me get some of these things out of the way. And I'm going to wash off some of these stamps quick. And then we can decide if, oh, I didn't use that one. We can decide, because I've already been going over an hour. How does that happen? I just don't know how that happens. It's because we have our conversations here and we chit chat. Craft and chat. All right, so let me, I'm thinking I have all those dies put away except for that rainbow one. And we'll get these put away so I don't lose anything. All right. We'll put thanks back on here. Big thanks. And then our birthday wishes. You love the squeaky sound of the chamois. I love my chamois. Then I'm not spraying anything with chemicals and stuff. It's just water and the chamois. All right, big flower. Because I don't think we need to use any of these for either of the next projects. That goes there. Thanks for your patience while I clean up. One last flower, and then the other things I have out is the butterfly and the butterfly body. Yeah, Stella, if you do it with acetate, and I have to figure out where this is going to lay here. There we go. I think that's close. All right, if you do it with the acetate and tuck the acetate behind, post a picture on my Facebook page, because I'll post this probably, hopefully later, we'll see. But I'd love to see what you make. So let me just get these blocks put out of the way. And there we go. I wanted to make sure I had my other blocks handy. All right, so we're mostly cleaned up. All right. Fun. So with this card that we did 2 nights ago, I made a box because I thought if I did a bunch of these, I could give them to like my sister-in-law or somebody as a gift. So I thought I would do the box top. So rather than this one where I tucked the acetate inside, I'll make a Misty Moonlight to go on the outside, and we'll decorate the top to be similar to the card. Hello, Tanya. You missed our little Faker Shaker card. So the measurements for my box bottom, because I wanted it to be big enough for the envelope this time, since last night I kind of forgot to accommodate the envelope size. So this envelope is not quite 4.5 by not quite 6. So I did 4.5 by 6. So there's a little bit of room around the edges, but that will make it easier to pick it out of the box. And then I added 2 inches. So 1 inch on each side. All right. So 4.5 plus 2, I went to 6.5. And then 6 inches plus 1 inch plus 1 inch, I went to 8. All right, and then I scored it 1 inch all the way around and made my little box base. So for the top, I'm going to take these same measurements, the 6.5 by 8, but I'm going to make it just a smidge bigger. All right. So I'm going to, because this is 8.5 already, I'm going to just turn this, and I want to do my 6.5. So there's my 6.5. And I'm going to go a smidge bigger. So 6.5. I'm going to go like a 1/16 of an inch bigger, maybe just under a 1/16. And we'll slice that off. And then I want 8 inches. And I want just a smidge bigger. So I'm going to go just under that 1/16 inch mark. And now because it's just a smidge bigger than what the box base will be, it's going to work and go over the top pretty easy. So I'm going to score it at 1 inch all the way around. And I'm using my inch mark over on the right side of my track. And then we can get rid of this. And now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of lightly bend these so it's a little easier for me to see. But then we'll snip these ends. And then I'm going to miter the tabs, what I call the tabs. Not a whole lot, but just enough. I'm sure the experienced crafters here have made plenty of boxes, but I know some people struggle with kind of designing their box for how big they need it. And I think my advice to you is don't make it more difficult than it has to be. So you were thinking about the glue on the acetate lid. Would it work if you spread the Tombow on, let it dry, and then put the backs together? Yeah, I had thought about that too because, oops, let me get this piece. So when you let the Tombow dry, it becomes tacky. And it's kind of repositionable at that point. So I could try it. I didn't try it. But you'd probably still be able to see it through there because you can see the glue here, even though it's tacky, it's still visible. So that certainly is an option. Definitely an option. I think I need to finish mitering this end. And if you're doing it on the outside of the box, if you're going to put that clear lid on the outside, certainly the hot glue gun worked, and it worked quite well. If you don't mind seeing those glue marks, or if you're going to cover it with some kind of paper. All right, so I'm going to leave this here in case anybody wants the box sizes for a card, a standard card. For us, I don't know, Sala, anybody in Australia, I don't know what your card sizes are, but ours are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So, and then the envelope is slightly bigger, of course. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and burnish my folds. And we'll make the box quick. The box top, and then I'm just going to decorate it kind of quick. I have some of the elements started for the box top. Yeah, it might not be too bad, Sala, but like when I was looking at it in person yesterday, it really showed. And I'll pull that out, well, with the hot glue. If you're thinking about the dried liquid glue, I'd have to play with that. So you can experiment and report back. report back to the group. But yeah, if they're both shiny, you're right, it might be fine. And again, people aren't scrutinizing the packaging so much. They're looking at the handmade stuff that they just got usually. Thinner and taller, almost the same. Okay. All right, so there's that. And hopefully hopefully my measurements were all good. I didn't test it. So again, my box top measurements were just a smidge bigger. So I've got here 6.5 plus a smidge by 8 plus a smidge. Yeah, you're right. The Tombow is shiny. So, and again, they're not going to be scrutinizing the box so much. And if they're going to critique your box making skills, maybe they don't need a handmade box. All right. Yeah, I just went to a yellow pack. I have blue ones. I have orange ones. I have the standard yellow ones. And then I have just an opaque one here to cut down the glare from my light that shines across here, and it really seems to be helping. All right, so let's see. Did I cut it a smidge big enough? Look at that. There we go. There we go. Nice, hey? So let's go ahead, and I probably should have decorated the top before before I put it together, huh? All right. So this I'm not going to use. I don't need it, but we are going to cut out. We're going to do a couple of butterflies. So those are here. And I'm going to do the butterfly bodies first because I'm going to emboss those in gold, and then I'm going to stamp. That should work because there's a divot in the stamp. Hopefully it'll work. So let's, whoops, I don't want that. I want Versamark. Don't want black. So let's go ahead and do a butterfly body here. And a butterfly body here. Hopefully they're far enough apart. We'll get the gold. And luckily the Versamark is very slow drying, so me putzing around was not a big deal. And I'm just trying to tap off some of the extra. There's just a, I didn't do my embossing buddies, so they got a little topsy-turvy on the ends here. That'll be fine. What I meant with the gap here is that whatever little raised part there is for the body, it should be fine because there's space in here that it should accommodate it. But yeah, shading with the marker would be fine. There we go. I didn't preheat my gun, so it took a little bit longer. magic. And then we're going to do our butterflies in Misty Moonlight. So with this card, I did one full strength and one stamped off. So we're going to do that again. And I'm just going to, my ink pad is pretty dry here, so I'm just going to go ahead and tap it on there because it needs a little bit of force. So hopefully I'm up high enough for you to see. And we'll do a little stamped off version. Beautiful. Whoa. Almost had an accident there too. All right, and then for this, here's, I don't know if you've seen this before, but I don't want to use all of the gold foiled ephemera pieces. I just meant if the embossed part causes issues. Yeah. I didn't want to use all of the labels that have the gold foiling on here, so I cut in the Flirty Flamingo a piece there to go on our banner. So this mimics our card, right? And then I am going to use some tear and tape. And I should get a silicone mat for this. That would work better. So I'm going to put tear and tape around my edges. Okay, that's good. And then I'm going to go ahead and peel that off. Yes, it's very subtle when you stamp off. And you know, that brings me to another thing. If you're using the Secret C and Cloud Cover full-size ink pads are not available to anybody other than demonstrators because there was a quality control issue and Stampin' Up! Didn't want to release them to customers because of it. But if you take the Secret C and stamp it off once or twice, you get the same as Cloud Cover, just so you know. I was playing around with it before we could get the full-size pads. I did end up getting some. All right, so that's there. I'm going to go ahead and fold those edges over. They're fine. And now I can put my other piece on the end here because I don't want any gaps in my tear and tape. And it looks like I'll have to trim just a little bit off maybe, or maybe I'll just put another piece of tear and tape on because there's just a little bit of Flirty Flamingo showing over there. Yeah, I think I'm just going to trim off the little bit of Flirty Flamingo when I'm done. All right, so now what I want to do is I can get rid of that. And we're going to come back with the gold. And we're going to put gold on here. So we're making our own little ephemera piece. And this might work better if I just put it down here. I should have used my embossing buddy. I forgot. So there's a couple little parts here that I have embossing powder. Renegade embossing powder. And hopefully, I see a couple of the ends of my tear and tape didn't get flattened as well as they should have. So I'm just going to have to camouflage that with butterflies, I think. All right, cover. Let's get this stuff back in here. And I'm going to get rid of this piece now just because it's got so much stuff on it. You're right, the embossing buddy may have made it more difficult, which is probably why in my head I didn't do it. All right, let's get this heat gun back over here. And we're going to make our own gold piece. Now these corners I'm going to have to kind of do from the top because it's too thick. It'll take too long to go through the back of the paper. But I actually love the texture that is created because it's kind of like hammered metal. So we're just kind of recreating that element. I'm trying not to burn my fingers. Whew. There we go. Just that one little section there that couldn't quite get. All right, looks like we got everything. So the corners are a little wonky on here because I didn't push the tape down far enough, but we can camouflage those easy enough. And this part, there are some speckles on it, and it doesn't look exactly like this, but I think it'll be good enough. And this is the Designer Series paper from the Advent package. And we had some of those rub-on elements here, and I think I want to try to do that. Let's see if I still have, we got some splatter here. Maybe we'll just use some bigger splatter. And because I have a little void spot here, I'm just going to boost it up on some ink pads. So I can rub. And again, I don't think, we talked about this, I think last night or the night before, probably the night before. It isn't a matter of pressure on those. I think it's a matter of heat and just getting it released from the paper. Whoops, that one kind of rubbed off. I was trying to push it down because it had kind of clung a little bit. All right, and let's get another one for the other corner. And let's see what we want to use. Maybe I'll use the same piece from the other sheet. Then I'll use the whole section because I cut it down, I think, for our card because we modified it from the recipe. Oh, Sally, you've not seen the embossing powder done that way, huh? Yeah, we had, oh, what's it called? I still have some. This gilded leafing. I loved this stuff. It was very messy to work with because it's very, very thin sheets of metallic paper, basically. You would put your adhesive down, and then you would lay this on there and heat emboss it and then just rub off the extra. It was pretty cool, but we don't sell that anymore. The embossing buddy, oh, I missed that part. All right, so I think I'm up to speed on some of these comments. All right, let's see if this one's going to lift off a little bit better for me. There we go. This one's still, I got one that didn't go down all the way. So this is cheater embossing. So we did a cheater shaker, now we did some cheater embossing. It's all good, right? And then we've got a couple little butterflies to fussy cut. Try and get my sheets back in their package. I love those metallic rub-offs though. All right, and this, I can probably get rid, no, I'll keep this on here. This we could probably actually put up on dimensionals now because it's going to be the top of the box. And maybe I'll use these adhesive strips that I usually use for my shaker cards. I'll just use them on here instead. That was a perfect size. This one I think will be good enough. Work smarter, not harder, you know? All right, then I think this piece will probably be a little long for here. Oh, you probably can't see. We'll go to about here. Yeah, these adhesive strips are what I usually use for my shaker cards. They're very flexible. I'm going to keep that there. And then this one I'll cut to about there. All right, and then I think we'll do some extra little pieces in here to keep it from going flat. So we can use that here and there. All right. Some powder on here, some gold powder. So I think I've got all those ink pads kind of in the middle. So I think that's pretty close to centered and straight. And then this we'll put here. I think I want to trim that down so it's not quite so wide. Let's get the little guillotine, I think. So it won't be quite so clunky looking. Because it looks a little clunky to me. Probably could have made that a little bit narrower. There. I like that better. And then let's fussy cut a couple of butterflies, hey? Because there's no die for the butterfly. And I will gladly fussy cut. Because who doesn't like fussy cutting, right? I could have probably just punched those out as circles or something. That probably would have been okay. I can hear the clock again. You're fussy cutting right now too, Sala? So do you create your own artwork to sell? You say you're doing your own printables. I know this is the boring part, but I didn't take the time to do any of this ahead. So anybody who's watching that didn't watch the last two nights, this card here was a Stampin' Up sample from the 12 days of crafting Advent. I guess you kind of call it a kit. It's not really a kit, it's more like a suite because it comes with dies and masks and memory and more cards and ephemera pieces and paper, glitter glue. Don't forget the glitter glue, right? So it comes with all kinds of things. So I've been working with this this is the third night, I think, that we made a project with it. All right. Well, that wasn't too bad. All right, so then I still have to get a little sentiment piece there. Now this we could put up on dimensionals too. This one's on dimensionals. The butterflies are attached. Now what I thought I would do with this is, I don't know if it's going to look very good. Oh, so you just recently started selling your printables. Oh, AI. I'm a little afraid of AI. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so I'm looking for some of the ephemera pieces. Here we go. So I didn't really want to use all of these either, because I want, of course, there's only one more. I wanted to be able to make multiple cards. So maybe I should just use this one for the top, and then I can make other ones. Yeah, yeah, and I guess that's why it's kind of scary to me. Plus I'm old, and you know, sometimes it's hard to learn new things. So what do I want to stamp on there? I'm going to do this later. I think it's getting harder to spot. I know some of them are so realistic. I wonder if I have something that says like for you. Or what about just a note? Or hello. Just a note would work. Or we could do it like this, be a little different. What do you think of just a note? If I was going to give these away, they're not like note cards, but that might work. Or I could just do hello. Let's see what else I have. I'm still looking. Oh, here we go. Yeah, because there are people out there that are gullible enough to think it's accurate. In fact, you know, I saw some videos a while back of like plane crashes, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's horrible. And then you see like stuff along the edges, you know, the edge of the runway, and you know, oh wait, that's not even real. Or my husband had some where they were like in the cockpit with the pilots talking and stuff, and I'm like, you realize that's fake, right? And I guess he hadn't really considered that it wasn't real, or it was like a video game, and those are so realistic too. All right, what did I do with the stamp set? Oh, there it is. Yeah, and I'm sorry, but to me, reality is not so bad. And all the fake stuff is just a bit much for me. Now, butterfly body, here we go. Get that put away too so I don't lose it. All right, so let's go ahead. I think I have all those stamps put away now. Put my chamois away. All right, and then here, let's do our embossing buddy. And I still have the gold out. You know, quite honestly, so much of like even social media is so fake. You only get to see, you know, the fun things that people want you to see. Oh, my life is perfect. Well, no, it's not, you know. People have hard times and everybody's not always pretty and made up. And I mean, some people are, but some people not so much. All right. Get my little spoon again. This time I'm using the tweezers because I don't have any embossing powder on the ends. Beautiful. All right, let's put some of these things away. So this I need to put on, I think I'm just going to glue this one down flat. Oh, I know. The romance scams, especially, you know, the ones that really get me are, you know, okay, he's in prison. You really think when he gets out that you're going to have this wonderful relationship, but he wants all your money now? We have a friend that works for a credit union or a bank. I don't know if you have credit unions where you are, but they're like a bank, but it's different. But he does like fraud investigations, and you know, there's still so many scammers out there, and people just, they buy into it. Well, they said I was going to get, no, you're not. They're stealing from you. If they're not people you know, and I worked for our criminal court system for over 23 years. So I got to see, you know, a lot of bad people until I went, you know, into the medical stuff and then finally into the educational field. But there are so many bad people out there. I'm just going to put some baby dimensionals on there, some mini ones, and then some glue here. You know, and the people that are doing these crimes, they're not dumb people. They are so smart. And I'm just thinking, if you would use your smarts to do good things, can you imagine their potential? Yeah, right? I get scammy emails like that all the time. I have a proposition for you. I just need to get money to so and so, and I'll put it into your account. No, you won't. No, you won't. And this, I think I'll just put some dimensionals in the middle, and it's covering up both of the little clunky corners I had there. I don't know, I think this is pretty fun. Pretty fun little box. And then we'll get some of these gems on here too. Now what I could have done too is made the top either shorter or the box part bigger so that you could see, you know, if I would have made the box taller, then it gives it a little more contrast. But let's get some of those gems. And we'll put a few of those on. So we have lots of them. Oops. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever understand people that do those sorts of things. I think we're going to do 5 on here. So these are flat on one side and then just kind of rounded. I don't think they're faceted. They're just kind of rounded. You know, and my dad's still alive. He got remarried after my mother passed away, so he lives in another city, so I don't provide care for him anymore because his new wife is doing all of that. But he has told me, oh yeah, I got this email when he was still living with us. Oh, I got this email. And I'm like, Dad, don't click on any of the links. Oh, I said, yeah, but so-and-so. No, Dad, don't. Just a note. Oh, I need to put that back in here. I almost lost it. Because I thought I was going to use that one. Luckily, I felt it on the back of that stamp case. All right, so let's get some glue and put these on here. There we go. I hope when I'm older that I don't fall for any of that stuff. Maybe that'll be enough glue. We'll see. I just hope I'll be smart enough to spot the bad things. And I'm lucky because our credit union is pretty proactive for activity on your accounts that is not normal. Oh, these are faceted. They might not all, no, they're all faceted, even the littler ones. I might have realized that before, but I had forgotten. Okay, we'll see if those hold by tomorrow. All right. So I'm thinking I'm done for tonight. I will do these cards, more of the note cards in here with the ink blending using my brushes. I'm going to save these for maybe tomorrow because I've been on here for 2 hours already. That's crazy, but you're fun to craft along with. So this is I think this is very pretty, and we could wrap it with some ribbon or something. I don't really think it needs it, but how fun is that? All right, so that one, we'll just do a little summary here. here's the card from that recipe, and then here's this card. And we made our own box because this one came with the box. But I thought these needed a box too. So thank you all for crafting with me. I appreciate the company. And I'm glad you like sharing the crafting ideas with me and suggesting things to make it better. So let me do a quickie goodbye announcement. All right, so thank you for joining me. And then let me just catch up on these. I'm really, Diana, thank you. I think they turned out really cute. And I wish I could say I was so creative that I thought of the ideas, but I didn't. I'm just able to follow along. Enjoy your weekend, Sala. I know you kind of take a break over the weekend. Yeah, it'll be Sunday evening for me probably when you tune in again. So thanks for stopping by, everybody. I appreciate it. And until next time, happy crafting.